All right, Texas says it is ready for whatever and whoever shows up at its border. Let's bring in Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Great to see you tonight, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on again.
Okay, so you all have a large border, obviously, along the south there, and this is not something new to you. What exactly do you have there, and what are you expecting if any of this, caravan of 1,000+ migrants working its way through Mexico should show up in Texas?
Yeah, look, we've been through this before. Obviously, when President Obama was in office, he almost invited people from Central America to come to our border. We had thousands of people here, including children. We dealt with it. It put a strain on our resources, but if it happens again, we'll deal with it again.
Okay, I want to read you something, or actually this is a soundbite. This is from Representative Francis Rooney. He's a Republican out of Florida, reacting to the news that the president may mobilize the military to the border. Here's what he said.
I feel really comfortable with deploying military troops and creating the possibility for an increase in violence and an escalation of the conflict. I mean, these people should be stopped at the border and vetted out, just the normal process. And we should have plenty of agents down there to do that.
Do you have the agents you need? I mean, what do you think about the proposal from the White House?
Look, I'm very supportive of it. Any help we can get. We're not allowed to do a lot of things as a state. This is a federal issue, and so if the president thinks National Guard will help us, given the situation in Mexico and this caravan of people, certainly we're open to that if it provides greater security and protects our citizens.
All right, let's talk about the wall, because there's been an endless debate for months, really years, going back to the president campaigning on building the wall, then only getting a fraction of the spending that he wanted in the omnibus bill that he signed just a few days ago. There's been talk now, and the administration has openly admitted this, about potentially using defense funds from the Department of Defense in order to help build the wall a little bit. Now there are a couple of Democratic Senators Durbin and Reed. They've sent a letter to Secretary Mattis saying this. They say, based on a thorough review, we conclude that the Department of Defense has no legal authority, with or without a reprogramming request, that's asking Congress to check at where the funds are going, to use appropriated funds for the construction of a border wall. What would you all like to see in Texas? I mean, it's a large border. There are all kinds of different conditions along the border. What would help?
Look, we know that a wall or a fence has already worked along the border with El Paso and Juarez, because there used to be no fence, and during the Bush administration, they built a large fence. It made a major difference in the crime rate in El Paso. It went from being one of the worst cities in America to being one of the safest cities in America. So we know that works. So whatever it takes to build a fence, a wall, that provide more border agents, technology, whatever is most appropriate along our large border, we want to do. And so part of that is definitely a wall. So certainly supportive of the president's effort to get that done. Okay,
quickly, we don't have a lot of time, but I want to ask you about this case. Texas has been involved. You've been involved with a case of minors coming illegally across the border. They're pregnant in many cases and then get here and seek an abortion. A federal judge ruled last week that the government has to facilitate that process. The administration has now asked for that judge's order to be put on hold. They say it will force them to potentially use taxpayer money to help facilitate abortions and essentially go against the law as they understand it. What happens next?
So hopefully that will not stand, that'll be challenged by the Justice Department. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me to give constitutional rights to an abortion for people who are here illegally and that have come into the country. Second of all, what they will do is incentivize people to come here for abortions. We will be a sanctuary state in Texas for abortions, and certainly we don't want that. We have an interest in protecting the unborn, and we certainly don't want to create a new constitutional right and an incentive for people to come here to get those abortions.
All right, we'll continue to watch that case as it winds its way through the system, maybe even up to the Supreme Court. In the meantime, Attorney General Ken Paxton, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you. Have a great day.